Come on, I need a clickbait title for the video. Say something. I'm kidding.
Suturist trashes other locals.
Exactly. What's quacking? And welcome back to Quack-Stage Pass. I'm your host, Kyle, and I have the special and amazing honor to have the legends in Suturist here with me today. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's start easy and have you all introduce yourself and your role in the band.
My name is Scott. I'm the vocalist.
I'm Alex, lead guitar.
Isaac, the drums.
Daniel, rhythm guitar.
Jeremy, bass guitar, and other.
Saxophone as well.
And Best Beard Award winner, right? Awesome. I hope to get there one day.
Best sax player.
Cool. Well, just to get us warmed up and talking, let's just talk a little bit about the history of the band. Can you share how you all came together and kind of the journey that led to the formation?
I ended up making a call to Daniel. I think he was kind of stagnant. I was stagnant musician, speaking wise, you know. And yeah, that was the start of it, really. We went through a couple of people that wanted to hang out with us, and then we found Alex joined in, or Beard joined in, and then Alex, and then Scott came in later on. Yeah,
I was a really late installment.
Yeah, we came in after we only had about 6 songs, and we've been going a couple of years.
Year and a half,
Yeah.
almost 2 years.
Yeah, you guys had like a post on Facebook seeking a vocalist for like at least a year.
Yeah, that's right.
So those early songs, were they just without vocals or did you have a singer before?
We just didn't perform. We were getting ready. We were going
Okay.
to sing it. None of them were big enough assholes to listen.
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool. Well, kind of round robin style, maybe if you're willing, we'll have each of you go around and I'll just have you describe the Suturist sound in maybe one word.
Dystopian. When we were in Idaho Falls, we were loading out after a set, and a guy didn't know that we could hear him, and they were like describing us, and they said that we sounded very dystopian metal-y.
I love it.
So that was the word that came to mind.
Super cool.
I would say like genre blending, or lack of a one word.
Yeah, moderately progressive.
Okay.
Interesting. We'll go with interesting. Intriguing.
Okay.
All the good adjectives.
I don't know. I'd say something along the lines of like groove, but I can't. That's not the word I'm using.
Vibes.
Yeah, groovy vibe.
Hey, that works. Love it. Well, obviously, when you choose a band name, you're very intentional with it, right? And yours can, for some people, be construed as very graphic, right? What was the thought process for coming up with the branding and the style of the name Suturist?
I actually came up with that one night. It had been months of just mulling through band names because I don't know if you've tried to name a band recently, but everything's taken, everything's been used. So I started just kind of blending words and making shit up. And honestly, our intention has always been to kind of blend some genres and kind of tie together or stitch together some different ideas. And so that one, when I kind of came across it, kind of worked. I brought it to the guys at the time. It was just Isaac and I don't know if
I was there. I remember the note card.
Yeah, and I was kind of weighed in on it and we stuck with it. Scott tried to change it when he came in, but I ended up loving it eventually. So
I don't think it was my initial. Pretty sure I was like.
they were like, no one's gonna know how to pronounce it.
I couldn't even say it. I mean, I like the concept of the word and how it was explained, but I couldn't say it for the life of me for like 6 months. Like I was like, people would ask me, like
What's the name of your
Futurist,
band?
like Futurist, Suturist.
There you go.
Yeah. It's rare to get a unique name that's one word for a band nowadays.
Mhm.
So the fact that we landed on one, I'm glad that we didn't change it now. Hindsight is always a lot more clear.
Well, and I think it was, what, REM? I like their approach. Just open the dictionary or thesaurus and find the first word you see, and
Yeah.
it ended up being REM. So worked out.
I'll let you draw, I think, right there. I think I'll let you draw. I don't think I would draw something.
So are you willing to share some of the names that you were considering before?
Oh, I've got a.
If you remember.
I've got a whole folder of them on my phone. But
We,
we're hanging on to those for albums and
Okay.
songs.
Fair enough.
I mean, the one that we almost changed it to when I brought it up. I was watching the Marvel movie The Eternals because it had just came out.
Okay.
So I thought Celestials would be cool. I was like, it still kind of sounds like Suturist, Celestials, but like,
Mhm.
I'm really glad we didn't change it because like it's a vibe. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we almost did. I remember like there were a couple of us who were like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but yeah, I'm glad we didn't change it.
And obviously your logo is very awesome and unique as well. Did any of you design that, or was that an outside thing? Or?
That's my buddy Drew Hicks.
Nice.
We work with a local artist. He's done everything for us, from our every poster you see on the walls behind me, our band logos. We've had 3 different renditions of the band logo. He's done all of them. Our sigils, all of our posters that we do, all of our single art. He's done pretty much everything.
Super cool.
It's great.
Really talented.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, kind of moving away from the origins of the band a little bit. Obviously, we're here in Boise, Idaho. Not many people would hear Boise, Idaho and think metal music, unfortunately, right? So, knowing now, though, that we're heading towards being known for music, I mean, we've got Tree Fort and a lot of other festivals and things coming to light. It hasn't always been that way. So, how do you view your role in Suturist as kind of helping the Boise music scene?
I mean, we do a lot of local shows, like mixed genre shows. I would say, like we play with a lot of really heavy bands, but we also play with a lot of more alternative bands as well. But I don't know if we really have like a role in like Boise music. We're happy to be here in a time where we can ride the wave of people being excited about local music again, because it almost like it breathed new life into it, like after all the restrictions lifted a few years ago, and everybody was hungry for shows after not going for a couple of years. So
Right.
we were fortunate enough to start playing shows right around the time that started opening up again. So I don't.
Boise's had a pretty decent metal scene for some time. Some of these
Awesome.
some of these
Yeah.
boys around here have been doing it 25 years and they're damn good at it. So.
Yeah.
Definitely quite a few bands that draw crowds, like Blacktooth, Grin.
Yep.
Heavy hitters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bands that've been around, and we all come from different bands, and
From
we
back
got
before.
together.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a history and camaraderie amongst each other. There's a lot of history
Absolutely.
in Boise with the local artists, and it is one big family. It's
Right.
kind of nice,
Yeah.
Me and Jeremy have been at it for like 16, 17
Yeah,
years
at
now,
least.
because we were in Rise of the Fallen before this for 8 years, and then there was like a 1.5 year hiatus where me and Isaac were putting shit together, and
I
then
was playing another project, Gentric, for a couple of years with some of my buddies, and just love the scene and love the music, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, and I have vivid memories of myself and my dad over there. I was as young as even 5th, 6th grade, going to the knitting factory to see some shows, and I just told myself, any chance I get, I'm going to help the local music scene here, even if I'm never in a band. Even I'm going to do what I can. So that's why I'm here doing this today. So yeah.
It's awesome.
What advice would you give to other emerging, not even just metal bands, but bands in general, whether from the Boise area or anywhere else?
Consistent.
I agree. Consistency is something I would say, like whether it's like yourself on your own instrument, of like making sure to at least practice something, whether it's like once a week or and when you're in a band, everybody's an adult, or even if you're younger in high school, everybody has stuff going on. So it's super important to, if you're serious about it, to take that time that everybody agrees to meet up and make sure that you're always progressing and always communicating with everybody what to work on next and what's going on next and what next steps or goals are in mind. So
Yeah, people here are pretty transparent on like appropriate steps to take, like when you start getting into music here. the main thing is just taking that initial step. And like, if you've never been around anybody and you don't know like anything going on music wise in Boise, it's just getting yourself to go to a show, even if it's by yourself, like just to start meeting these people. Like most of the time, if you're by yourself at a lot of these shows, people are just going to find you and talk to you, like for whatever reason. So I think consistency is the main thing, though. I would say just not giving up if stuff doesn't go exactly the way that you plan it. Just kind of going with the motion of the ocean sometimes.
I was gonna say you got to get out and support. Like you've got to get out and go to the local shows if you want to play with the local bands. But we won't know about you. They won't know about us. You know,
Right.
It's that circle. You've got to get out and go. And a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people do, but when I was younger, I didn't have the right footing to even. It was just a pipe dream. I want to play.
Yeah.
And when I started going to shows, you know, you start meeting people, you shake
Right.
hands, you brush elbows, and then all of a sudden, it starts to become tangible. You know, that's what I'd say. You got to get out.
Yeah.
Rising tide, that's many ships, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all about the entire scene at the same time, not just your band.
And
Does-
if there's an itch or a little spark, run.
Yeah.
Go with it. Don't get distracted.
There's a lot of like Instagram focused metal promotion for local music in Boise too. Like there's a bunch of channels, but I know there's one called Metal Boise that posts a lot of like local shows that are at everything from house venues to all the way up to like the Knitting Factory and the Revolution. Like there's a bunch of people on Instagram with pretty decent numbers that focus on just promoting the area, which is kind of cool too. So that also helps.
Something I just thought of, you know, talking about the whole idea of it's not what you know, it's who you know, right?
Mhm.
Have you guys ever run into someone who said, hey, I'm part of a local band, I loved your show, right? And you got to know them, and it turns out that they were just kind of putting on a facade for you, and they weren't genuine about like getting to know you. Does that ever happen?
I mean, like if it did, the front's still going on. Like, I mean,
Fair enough.
I tell people all the time that if I didn't work with people that didn't have beef with me at one point, I probably wouldn't work with anybody. So, like,
Fair.
it's one of those things where, yeah, probably I take everything on a case to case basis. So, like, if something happened like a couple years ago, whatever, and like there's an opportunity for like us to work together for whatever reason, like I'm open to like see if it works out. Like, I don't know, like
I've seen him do it.
yeah. So like sometimes against my better judgment, but more often than not it works out. So everybody has a common goal, but when you're doing something that puts your passion at the forefront, sometimes emotions can take the wheel when they're not supposed to. So that's probably like everybody's guilty of it, so can't really fault them for being human, really. But yeah.
Because I would imagine that might happen quite often. Is I'm an upcoming band. We've existed for a month. I'm gonna get to know this band that just played main stage, and then now we've shot into local fame. Forget them. You know, I'm sure that happens. You know, I'm glad it hasn't happened to you guys too. I mean, that's at least that you're not aware of anyway.
Yeah, like everybody, like most of the people that we play with have always been really cool to us, like really complimentary, and like all the bands that we've been fortunate enough to play with, like most of them have been insane. So, like at a local level, like they're talent wise just fucking incredible.
Boise's an interesting scene, and it has been for a long time. Like,
Yeah.
it just like what we were talking about, everybody, you know, for the most part, lift each other up, and you know, good job, and
Nice set,
a
bro.
lot of rapport, a lot of good rapport, and you know, just a lot of support, and that's what's cool about the scene here. I think, not that I've been anywhere else, but you know, I think it's different, just knowing kind of what's out there.
I think to that same point too is that a lot of Boise's local music is relevant, and so
Yeah.
like a lot of us really enjoy it. It's a good
I second. I don't know. I disagree. I think I play multi circuits. You know, country, outlaw stuff, to the death metal, to the blues and shit, and everything in between. It's out there. There's music. Boise has a really good music scene.
Oh yeah.
Cross genre music.
Yep.
You know, you want to go find some storyteller stuff, you can find it. You know, it is here. You know, and I don't know if a lot of people really do know that. Like this guy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But it is out there. And there is a lot of metal. But we are, as this unit, immersed in the metal scene. We see more metal.
Right.
You know, that's what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like on the internet, you do see like a lot of memes of like what with the local music scenes, like it can on the internet it can look like a lot of like unsuccessful people that are like stabbing each other in the back. Unfortunately, like Scott was saying, every band that we've ever played with, we've never seen a hint of anyone acting like that. Everybody's super positive. You know, their bands come to see our set and their fans come to watch our set, as well as their the band that they came to see. Like, people come and stick around for the whole show, and so there's a lot of cool stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Boise Music Festival alone is a great example of exactly what you're saying. Most of those smaller stages are local bands, and you have anything from indie to folk to country to hard rock and metal. I mean, all in one area. And
Yeah.
that's amazing. You don't get that in a lot of cities.
I love that. When you Google Boise Music Festival, one of the first options it gives you is like the local stage lineup. Like,
Yeah, love
like,
it.
That's like one of the first things you see when you Google Boise Music Fest. I love that.
Right. Yeah, that's super cool. Well, putting Suturist aside for just a brief moment, Dino Duo. Just to bring it up. Yeah, right. There's the tie, right? As a part of Dino Duo and promoting music and shows and things, but then also being part of a local band, I would imagine that creates kind of a unique dynamic there.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit to that, and is there struggles there?
I mean, not really. So like Dino Duo came into fruition really late. I've been booking shows for years. Like,
Okay.
I can confidently say I've probably taken the reins on booking since the beginning. Like, so like, yeah. So like, I've been booking the band since before Dino Duo was a thing. So now, for more or less, like, every show that we do is a Dino Duo show, because like I'm tied to it, obviously. But it's not really a conflict of interest, I would say. I do a lot more shows without us on it than I do with us on it. So we just had a show at the Knitting Factory on Saturday that was all like punk and alternative bands, and we haven't played the Knit. It'll be coming up on a year next month since we played it, I would say. So yeah, like, it's not really an issue, because like that was just an entity that came up as a result of like me getting the chance to book shows at the Knitting Factory so often. So yeah, not really a conflict of interest there, I would say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
I've always been curious about the music promotion side of the world. So.
Yeah, it's once upon a time I did it for free for 6 years, and then they're like, "Hey, we like you." I worked with a lot of bands when I moved here in 2015. I started working with a lot of bands in 2016, and I would like put on shows at the Knitting Factory back before 2020, and with like bands that I worked with and stuff. And then we saw an opportunity right when shows started coming back to be able to do it again. The other half of Dino Duo, Will, he was able to put together a show, and then he contacted me, and it ended up being our first show. He put us on it, and then I helped book the show. He put us on it, and then from there on, the Knit was just like, "Hey, do you want to do another one?" And it's just been like that for almost 3 years now.
Nice. It's great to have those connections.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, the general manager of the Knit now was the assistant general manager back then when I was doing it, like all the free shows and stuff with like 500,000 free tickets, stuff like that. So yeah, it's like, we're very fortunate that the Knitting Factory specifically still has a lot of the same people that they've had for decades at this point. So a lot of solid relationships there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's get into the fun stuff regarding Suturist.
Yeah.
How do you balance dark and intense lyrical themes, but also making them enjoyable and accessible for listeners?
Well, I guess that'd be me again. So, I mean, yeah, I'd say the lyrics are fairly dark, like theme-wise. But I would say, as long as the energy is there, like, you can really, like, I'm not going to push this envelope, but you can really say what you want, and as long as the beat's there, you're going to be okay. So I really hone in on like the rhythm of what I'm doing. I try and make sure that I stay in the pocket and I'm like bouncing on top of the beat, like keeping people intrigued. Like, I try and service the song as much as humanly possible. And we cover darker themes, but I'll ask these guys on like input for like what they want a song to be about and stuff like that all the time.
And so is that songwriting process a collaboration of, you'll bring the lyrics, they'll bring musical themes, or is it kind of, hey, I brought lyrics with me today, I don't know if they'll work, let's try them? Or How does that work for you
It
guys?
starts with music.
Yeah, normally
Okay.
the lyrics come after the song is done. Like we'll jam it all out and like we'll compose it and put it together. And once the song is like 80 to 90% done, that's when I'll start working on lyrics, because like I can get like an idea of like how the song feels and like what emotion that should be and all that good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're in the era of artificial intelligence. So I used ChatGPT and I asked it to go and listen to some of your songs and then define the genre of the music.
Oh, dude, this is gonna be awesome.
So it said their sound blends groove, death metal, and progressive elements. Would you agree?
I mean, that's pretty on the like.
Yeah.
That's pretty much on the nose. Like, depending on what time, like since we've started this band, depending on what time you've met us, we've said it's one of those three things. So
Okay.
I would say, yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay.
AI could agree with this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
one word.
yeah. I'd say the death metal is my fault more than anything.
You know what's funny too about that is it also agreed, because then after I had it say the pronunciation of the name, and it said Suturist.
Yep.
Suturist.
So it didn't know it either.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's right.
We kind of touched on this a little bit already, but what emotions in your songs and lyrics are you most interested in invoking in your audiences when they come to see you live?
A lot of the stuff that we do, there's a lot of duality in it. Mostly, like I learned at a really young age. Like, it was one of the harsh realities that I had when I first got into metal. Is not everybody loves metal for the same reason, and I was one of those people that really, really, really liked lyrics. And when I started like hanging out with more people that were into like metal and stuff, and I started like saying that I loved lyrics so much, they would say, well, I like the guitar, or I like this and I like this. So like I don't I don't really make like the lyrics the forefront of everything. If they want to, the lyrics are there and they can like find it. But I'm more interested in like the sound and the vibe and servicing the song. And then if you want to know more about the lyrics, like I really love my lyrics and I put a lot of like work into them and I put a lot of work into the story. But I also know that a lot of people don't really care for that stuff. So like I try and make it as accessible as I can. But if you want to know more about the lyrics, like on all of our videos, I make sure to include the lyrics and stuff. So like in the description on YouTube. So
Cool.
But yeah, like it's mostly like just like history and like the way the world is going and stuff like that. But like a lot of people go to concerts and stuff to escape that.
Right.
So like I don't want to like force it on them and stuff. Like
Mhm.
I'll take jabs here and there. Like when we did Treefort Music Festival a couple of weeks ago, right before we played Watch Them Fall, I said, this next song is about all the motherfuckers on Capitol Hill in suits that can't save you, or something like that. So like I'll poke at it, you know what I mean? But like I'm not gonna like beat you over the fucking head with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's not like you're using it for a stance either. It's a segue
No.
into a song. It gets people to pay
No.
attention, and then you move on.
No, I'm
And
Yeah.
I'd add too, music is just about moving people, you know? It's
Yeah.
Oh
about-
yeah.
If you play something that you feel that you like, somebody else is going to feel it. Maybe that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of artists sit around and wonder, is what I'm writing good? If the songs are writing good, is anybody will feel this? If you like it,
Yeah.
somebody's going to like it.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're moving people and you're keeping people positive energy in the pit and stuff like that, eventually that's about.
Yeah. I'm not gonna beat you over the head with my message, but I'll probably provoke you to think a little bit.
There you go.
But that's
It's a good way to do it.
it's about as far as I go with it.
Yeah.
Your band's always good as your
People like this. I don't know.
Yeah, people like us, dude. I don't get.
So, talking about live shows, do you guys have a wildest or most unforgettable show, whether it was a good reason or a bad reason?
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Boise Slaughterfest.
Mm.
That was definitely our craziest show. We had people jumping off stage. We had people like hanging
Wow.
off the rafters. We had the entire floor of the shredder on the floor rowing like a boat.
Love it.
We had a giant wall of death where bodies were flying and like drinks were going all over the place. Like there was a pile of blood in front of the stage, like after our set. Like Dude, that show went hard. Like
Wow.
there's a bunch of videos online of it. Like we definitely, from what the people that organized the show tell us, we had the best crowd response of the entire day.
It was,
That's
like-
sick.
it was an all ages show. There was a lot of teenagers.
Oh, yeah, dude, like zero regard for their own personal health, man. Like God bless
I got
them.
punched in the neck.
Not really like during the show, but I guess before a show, we did have a show in Kennewick where our
Yeah.
van broke down.
Oh
And it was the
no.
middle of summer, so I remember personally, I was like on the edge of getting heat stroke by the time
Ooh.
we finally got to.
We had we had
Man.
we had a couple of dates with Hemlock on their 30th anniversary tour. One was in Kennewick, Washington. Blew the motor in our van about I would say like 20 miles past Huntington, maybe. So
Okay.
like in Oregon, halfway to Kennewick.
Yeah.
So we had to like send for like a backup truck to come and get us. So his wife comes down with 2 pickups, and the one that she drops us off with has no air conditioning.
Mm.
So we're baking in 102 degrees inside this van for 3 hours. Yeah, waiting for the truck
Oh,
to get here,
man.
only to bake some more. And then we missed sound check, but we were able to play like nothing happened. Yeah,
Hey, that's good.
at an outdoor show, the only outdoor show we've ever done. Right after getting
That's
baked by the
rough.
sun. Our first show. What?
That was our first out of town.
Yeah, our first ever show at the Knitting Factory was in June on like a 98-degree day, and the AC went out. So it was
Ah.
like, yeah.
Oh man.
So it was pretty gnarly. It was pretty hot up there.
Real quick, going back to the rowing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Actually, just I think over last weekend they had the Sonic Temple Festival.
Yeah.
And I saw a funny video, and it was a bunch of people rowing to, I think it was the funeral portrait or something. And, 30, 40 people rowing. And then the camera pans, and there's a guy standing in front of them leading them dressed as Jesus. And he's helping them row. And he's like almost like a conductor. Like, do it, let's go. And I just thought that
Hell
was
yeah.
the best imagery, you know?
Just at the Necronomicon show last week, there was a guy dressed as Gandalf.
Yeah.
And,
Awesome.
They called him the Circle Wizard, and he'd spin his staff in a circle.
He had like a staff with a ball on it that had a light in it, and he's like spinning it in the air. Yeah, I was gonna say the first band I ever saw do the boat thing, I think, was Amon Amarth. It was either them or Sabaton, but
Hailstorm does it.
we have a song called Counterweight. The working title of it was called Battle Boats. So like I found like a battle involving boats that like fit the theme.
Yeah.
And it was the Battle of Svolder, which took place in 996 AD between the King of Denmark and the rightful King of Sweden, but he was cast out of Sweden because his father was killed by the guy who was currently the King of Sweden. It's a whole thing. But essentially, he was on his way. He was on his way back to Sweden and was intercepted by Denmark. And because he had significantly less boats than it was, Olaf Tryggvason and Sven Forkbeard were the 2 people that were involved. Because he had like significantly less boats than Denmark, he tied all of his boats together with giant 2x4s, and essentially they had a wall of death with boats. So like
Awesome.
one time at a show, I was just like, row. Well, I start the song with like a chanting like row. And at one of our shows, like we got like a line of people just rowing all the way back to the bar at the Knitting Factory.
That's awesome.
And like it's just been like a thing ever since.
That's so
We
cool.
were all shocked.
Yeah,
too.
we're like,
Yeah.
what's happening? We're on stage.
Personally, the first time I ever saw that was at one of our shows, so it was pretty cool.
See, next time that happens, you'll just have to go down with your mic and join them.
Oh, dude, I
And just
like
sing from there. I mean,
if I could get a wireless, man, I would totally do that.
that'd be awesome.
Like I would totally be down for that.
Cool. Kind of moving on to pre or post show. Do you have any pre or post show rituals that you like to do?
I don't partake in any
I try to
substances.
stay awake. I go through an adrenaline crash. So before the show, you can catch me snoozing or just
There you go.
yawning
Yeah.
all the time. It sucks. I don't know.
That counts.
I walk a hole in the floor.
Yeah, he's a pacer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm about the same too. I think I try to relax, but I'm usually
Usually
Messing with
shot in a
stuff.
beer.
Yeah, I'll just get my guitar out and do so. I'll just try to make sure I'm warmed up on guitar.
There you
on my
go.
Guitar. That's about all.
90% of our shows, I'm the one organizing them, so I'm probably doing something else.
Yeah.
But no,
That's his excuse for not helping his catch.
yeah, that exactly, yeah. But other than that, I just don't partake in any substance use before I like get on stage, just because it like saves my voice. It helps.
Fair. Yeah. How much of what audiences see on stage is quote unquote you, or versus how much of it is kind of a stage presence that you've kind of created?
Well, I mean, I'm really the only one that like. I mean, you can hear Daniel a couple of times, I guess, like on backing vocal stuff, but like, I mean, it's totally me. Like, I'm the same person whether I'm talking to my grandmother, whether I'm on stage. Like, I'm the same person. So like, it's definitely not a facade. Like, I definitely amp it up a little bit. Like, I'm more of like I'll be my own hype man kind of thing.
Okay.
But like, as far as like the humor and like the way I carry myself, like, yeah, it's definitely the same.
Yeah, I don't think any of us really have that whole alter ego persona when you go on stage. Like,
Yeah.
Come as you are. We're there with you.
Yes.
You know, come on to work.
Super cool.
We're there with you.
Let the adrenaline do what it do.
Yeah.
Nice.
Have a good time. I don't. Yeah, none of us
Yeah.
really gotta put on a mask or something.
Yeah.
Speaking of adrenaline, have you ever had any of you had a time when the adrenaline got the best of you?
Personally, yeah, but not really in not in a music sense. I play a lot of pool, so I've gotten nervous playing pool and
Uh-huh. Yes.
got the adrenaline situations like that.
I've definitely burnt out. You know, song into the first song into the set, just being super amped up, and then you come out and you kick that door down, and then all of a sudden you're just like you just blew your wad. You're like, I got another 40 minutes to go. You know, like,
Yeah.
shit, you know. Then it just comes down to like autopilot, you know, and usually that kind of works, you know.
I'd say too. Everybody gets back there here. We've been doing it so long, right? Because that's probably happened 17 years ago, and now it's just you've learned how to handle it. Do your best not to let it get the best of it.
I definitely do a lot of movement on stage, so like it's probably more of a byproduct of the adrenaline than anything, but I'll get like physically sick after a set if I really go hard. Like,
Wow.
There was that I think you know exactly where I'm going with this. So we played the Knit one time. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was the first.
Was that our last time with the Knit?
I don't know if it. I think it might have been Nixon Rodeo. Like, it might have been Nixon Rodeo. But anyway, I went up on stage on a completely empty stomach. Like, I hadn't eaten at all that day, and I sipped some water while I was on stage. We played the show. Everything was fine. I'm like trying to wind down. Like, right as soon as I get off stage, I wear a jacket when I'm up there too. So like all the time. So I get off stage and I go to the break room, and there's this case of Monster Energy Tour water. So it's just like cans of water, like that they used to have at Warped Tour back in the day. So I take one of those cans of water and I just crush it, like just whole thing down the gullet, just whew. So then I crush the can, I sit down in the chair in the green room at the Knit, and all of a sudden I just feel it like coming, like I'm just sitting there and like I obviously I must be changing colors or something, because everybody in the room's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Stop talking, just stop talking." Like, I can't talk right now. I'm working on just keeping this where it's at.
Right. Yeah.
and it got the better of me, dude. And like, it was like he was the only one
right there.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was
projectile like across the room into the door. It was like a 7-foot
no.
stream.
Yeah, it was like pressure. Just
like, you
dude.
do that shit with
it was me, Daniel, and Will in the room when it happened, and I just I finished and I just tilted my head back and I was just like, and like I laid there for a second and like I come to, and Will's just on his hands and knees just scrubbing everything with towels.
And now when bands come through there, and you're getting them set up, you point to the stain on the wall and you go, "That was me."
Yeah. Thankfully, it was the room right across from their shower, so I just hopped in the shower real quick.
Oh, there you go.
I was fresh as a daisy in 20 minutes. Yeah, now everybody knows.
Yep.
Yeah, Will's a real one for that, dude. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt like
it. That's funny. What is something about each of you individually that fans might be surprised to know?
Like I was saying, I play a ton of pool. I'm actually an instructor, so I do lessons and teach people how to do that, and I run tournaments and am pretty actively involved in the community over there. So
That's sweet.
Yeah, I'm a part of an outlaw motorcycle club.
Awesome.
Yeah, that.
Motorcycle enthusiast.
Yeah,
1%.
2%ers.
Oh, there you
We're Chopper Club, but we are a 3 Piece Outlaw Club.
Nice.
I really can't think of anything other than say that. Really.
You could do your frisbee golf.
Yeah, I'm a disc golfer right now.
Nice.
Not
I don't know. Is there anything? I'm just the basement.
They just show up, man.
You're the cornerstone.
I do. I love metal, but I like a lot of soccer stuff too. I like a lot of reggae, 90s stuff, and so I don't know. What else?
so.
Something about Beard, he's a gentle giant.
Mm.
A lot of people get intimidated by his ass, but he's very approachable. I'll throw that one out there.
Yeah.
Successfully raised 6 children with my wife.
Awesome.
With my wife. So that's
He's super dad. He's old enough to be my
I'm
dad.
the band. I'm pretty.
He drives a 7-wheeler, so elbow cut into the woods.
Yeah,
Or a nice truck.
he does.
Nice.
Oh, that's gas.
He fills the dad role very well. Like I hate chili because chili's incredible.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah. Outside of music, I'm kind of a hermit, but right now I'm working on reading a bunch of Stephen King. And then other than that, I recently got back into fishing, and
Nice.
I also am really into like knives and multi-tools. So like
Cool.
that's really the only thing I focus on outside of my band. And I'm getting married in September. That's the other thing that's going on.
Oh, congrats.
So yeah.
Awesome. Sweet. Yeah. Who are your biggest musical influences, even if they're not metal?
guitar wise, I'd say like Joe Satriani
Nice.
is a big one for me. Guitar wise, Metallica was the first metal band that I ever got into. And then like Avenged Sevenfold and As They Lay Dying were like the first like scream bands that
Nice.
and I guess Lamb of God is the last band that I'll name. So those are most.
I'm a fusion guy. I like Tower of Power. I like
Nice.
Snarky Puppy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm also into the death metal, and I'm into the singer-songwriter, you know.
Yeah.
I'm an avid music lover. I love it all, and I try to play it all. You
Nice.
know, I'd really, an artist and a group, I can't name one, but I can show you a bunch of kick-ass music, you know.
Yeah.
I'd say huge, massive Tool fan. Unearth, In Flames, Textures, Contortionist, maybe some more proggy stuff on top of that. Really anything, really. I mean, there's all sorts of great music out there from all sorts of genres. Lately, I like a lot of the more genre-bending bands, 12-Foot Ninja, Sleep Token,
Mhm.
Socket Punch, stuff like that. All great genre-bending things that cover a little bit of everything.
Oh, who really love. I'm also an avid Tool fan. Ryan Martini, Mudvayne. Really love that guy's sound, and of course like Les Claypool. I love all of Les, and just Victor Wooten was in town last week.
Yep.
He did a clinic, and I went over that. Yeah, I love watching that guy. That guy's cool. And learning from that guy. Was a fleet I like to play from the show too. As far as modeling sounds.
You know, with Victor, actually, we were having dinner at the sushi place before the show on the outdoor patio when a bunch of his bodyguards and things walk up and they see if there's any availability, and they turn around and they go, "Hey, Vic, there's nothing available." And he walks right past us. And I was like, "Hey, there he goes." Like, oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Influence wise for me, like the metal frontmen that have really influenced me are probably people like M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold, Matt Tuck from Bullet for My Valentine. Ozzy Osbourne is another really big one. I'm a huge Jonathan Davis fan. So Korn was like the band that really got me into metal. and then I kind of went backwards and got into like the older bands and thrash and stuff like that, and then went forward and got into like metalcore and deathcore and like all the stuff that I listen to now. Like I listen to pretty much everything. Like I've been rocking Celine Dion all this week, like a lot for some reason. Like I'll be sitting at, because I work from home, I'll be sitting home by myself just listening to her music, and I'm like,
She did the Titanic theme song in one take.
yeah, and like yeah, the My Heart Will Go On. Yeah, that was a demo. Like that was a demo that she sent, and they were just like, this works. Because it was just so flawless. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I grew up on like old country and stuff, so I listen to a lot of old country now. But I'll listen to rap. I'll listen to Celine Dion, Lady Gaga, Madonna, everything from like 1056 to Chelsea Grin. Like I listen to everything. Like
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny story. Actually, you mentioned Korn.
Yeah.
I have a almost 5-month-old at home now, and forever we were trying to listen to lullabies, go down to sleep. All this stuff, and you're smiling, you know where this is going, right? The only thing that will get him to sleep is either the scatting that Jonathan Davis does, the metal version, right, at the end of whatever song that it is, or, funny enough, Breaking Benjamin. Otherwise, like, we play it on, he just stops crying and big smile, he loves it. So I'm trying to learn how to do that he does, and it's impossible, but
we
yeah, right.
we do a Tool cover, and there's a break where it's just the bass and kind of like just this low drum beat, and it's the perfect foundation for ba-doom ba da-doom dum ba
Yeah.
And I do it, and it pisses them off so much. The crowd loves it. I did it one time, and they fucking laugh. So don't know what your problem is, but.
That's the important part.
It's terrible, but it's
that's our band theme for the month.
just fuck you, Scott.
For the year. Fuck you, Scott.
All right, so Suturist has been approached by a label, and they want to sign you for, let's say, $15 million. But you have to do a covers-only album. What songs are on there?
Well, the two that we cover now are Redneck by Lamb of God and Jerk Off by Tool.
Nice.
But we've also talked about doing Township Rebellion by Rage Against the Machine. That's another one that's popped up. Rick James, a lot of old funk.
I'd like to play some Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, we really want to do Limp Bizkit, but
I'm gonna do Black Hearts Now Raid by Others.
yeah. We talked about Guar one time. Which Guar did we say?
Bring back the bomb.
Bring Back the Bomb.
There you go.
So
We've talked about Rick James, and we've talked about a couple Alice in Chains songs.
Okay.
yeah,
I've been itching to play March of the Pigs by Nine Inch Nails too.
March of the Pigs. Yeah, we talked about that one too. Yeah, that's a good one.
For a metal version of Judith Perfect Circle.
I would love to do. Judith would be amazing. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
There's the Boston song that's escaping me right now, but it's the intro, and then it goes into yeah, exactly. Foreplay is the name of the intro song, and then it's
Just to be clear,
Under
Boston
Pressure or
doesn't have a
something.
bad song.
Yeah,
right. But I feel like that would be such a cool song to make metal, just like that whole. It's like 6 minutes for the
yeah, that'd be fun. I think that's about an album's worth, at least an E EP.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So let's take it a step further then.
Mhm.
Dead or Alive, what is the dream band collaboration?
In Flames.
In Flames.
Mm.
Flames on Earth, Bleeding Through.
In Flames, on Earth Bleeding Too. That's a pretty solid
On Earth and
lineup.
Bleeding Through are already doing it like every few months in California. They just won't come in this direction.
Yeah, that'd be a fun collab.
They're in Flames has to cross oceans.
Kind of good question. I don't have a good answer for you right now.
That's fair.
Like I said, there's a few. I think of take a whole handful of them. That'd be awesome to have
Festival.
a big album of just, or a festival of everybody just getting together and play.
Yeah, I've had a weird dream of wanting to work with Edsel Dope. That's a guy that I would love to do music with. I just think that he's always had like a really interesting ear for like technology, kind of like a Trent Reznor, like similar time period. He came a little bit later, but like the technology like integrated with music and stuff. I like that stuff. So industrial stuff like Fear Factory, and like I'd love to work with bands like that. Like I could do rhythms and stuff over that all day. So that'd be fun.
Yeah. Any others? It's okay if not. Those were great answers.
I would say Tool, but Maynard would hate our cover.
It would still be funny to see him. It would be great to see him hate it.
Yeah,
I think it'd be great to see him hate us. I think it'd be fun to play with some of the newer proggy bands like Unprocessed or
Unprocessed.
Even Dream Theater would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although, would half of you be able to even keep up with Dream Theater?
No.
I mean,
yeah, that'd be a rough
I'd
one.
give it an honest go.
yeah, as you should, right?
I'd go down in a blaze of glory.
Oh, yeah.
I'd do.
Cool. All right, first game. This is called Metal or Made Up. So the way it works is I'm going to read out a band name. It is either a real band or a fake band. Most of them are metal band names. I'll just throw that out there. You guys have to agree and then vote on if it's real or fake, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Okay.
Ready? First one is Goat Whore.
That's real.
That's real. Good job. Second one, Laser Funeral.
Fake news.
That sounds fake.
You answered so quickly. Are you confident on that?
I would bet $1 on that one.
Yeah? What tells you that?
The way you said it.
The way I said it.
I've heard of Rose Funeral. I've never heard of a Laser Funeral.
Do I need to say it in a different dialect or
Am I
something?
wrong? Am I wrong?
You are correct. It is fake. Good job.
You gotta tell.
Okay, the next one is Ashbreed.
What was that again?
Ashbreed.
Ashbreed.
I'm a vote. Although if it's fake, can we use it?
We got songs
It's
coming out.
kind of cool. We got a new song coming out.
Ash.
I think that one sounds fake to me, in my opinion. I'd say.
It looks like I'm outvoted. I kind of think it's maybe real.
I'll get your back on this. I'm
So-
going to say it's real.
So then, what makes you think it's real?
I just feel like it's not quite generic, but it's almost generic to where there has to be like Ash and Breed together. Like it just seems like the probability that there's a band with that name is very high.
All right. So what's the final answer?
I think
We
we
got 3-2.
we have a 3-2 no. I would say.
That's correct. They're fake.
Fake.
Yep.
Trying to lead
So
us
yeah,
astray.
feel free to use it. I don't know. There's probably a band out there somewhere.
We have a new single coming out, Ashbreed.
Yeah, right. There you go.
It's hard to think.
Yeah.
All right. The next one, Moose Blood Tsunami.
Real. I'm going with real. I don't know why. I
think
just
real.
feel like it's
That sounds very specifically real.
right.
Yeah.
It'd be hard for someone to make that.
Like that's
Tsunami.
that's some backwoods Alaska.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Alaska.
are they bluegrass? Canadian bluegrass?
So what's the final answer?
I would
Real.
say that's real.
I think it's
That's it, real.
That is fake.
Really? Oh,
I actually made that one up.
damn.
Good for you.
Dude, yeah.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
album.
Thank you.
10 out of 10 for creativity.
These are another citrus.
Yeah, there you go. I want royalties if you use it. No, I'm kidding. Okay, and then the last one, the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
Real.
Yeah, that one's legendary.
Yeah, that's real. They
So
just came
good.
back.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
They just came back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked on that.
So, following up with that, are there any other weird band names that you know that are real that you've heard in the past?
Oakley Dokley.
Oakley
Oh,
Dokley.
the Ned Flanders one. Yes.
We butter the bread with butter.
Infant Annihilator.
I killed
Okay.
the prom queen.
There you go. I wrestled a bear once.
I wrestled a bear
That's
once.
a good one.
Pinkly Smooth. That's a side project with the Rev and Sinister Gates from Avenged Sevenfold. That's a weird one.
Wow.
Austrian Death Machine.
Austrian Death Machine.
Yeah.
That's another weird one.
I heard one once that was Shotgun Squirrel Project.
Hate Beak. That's a
Okay.
their vocalist is a parrot. They have an album called The Number of the Beak.
That's awesome.
I'm not joking, bro.
That's awesome. What? I gotta look that up.
Yeah, Hate Beak.
And a nod to Necrogon.
Necrogoblicon.
Mhm.
They have
There
a
you
pretty
go.
awesome, pretty weird name.
Yeah. Okay, well, I would say you won that. That was good. Yeah, and you got a couple single ideas out of it, so love it. Okay, this next one is bandmate superlatives. So point to the band member that you think fits the category the best. Are you ready? First one, most likely to forget the lyrics.
I'll volunteer.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know.
That's fair too. Yeah.
Like, I'm really
See, but you can't forget what you don't know. So, I mean, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of forget parts to come in sometimes when I'm standing there waiting for you. But he's got so few. It's just like, it's, yeah. Probably me. Like, I don't really forget, but like, yeah, probably me.
Fair. I mean, you have to remember them all. So,
Yeah.
all right. Who has the most metal taste in food?
Metal taste in food.
You meal prep, so you're out.
I'm gonna say Scott. I think he is the
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a food page on, or a food group on Facebook called Boise Food Finds, and like that's it kind of took off quite a bit in the last few years. So I get a lot of food related stuff. But yeah,
Nice.
I ate a lot of steak. That's pretty metal, I would say.
Yeah, it is.
So I'll just honorable mention for myself because I was in Lincoln City traveling, and I went over to my friend. One of my friends is from Vietnam, and his entire family was there, and so they all cooked a bunch of like different fish that they caught at like CJ Strike and some other places, and they were impressed because I was willing to try everything that they cooked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was the only white person saying just eat all the food.
Not only that, I'd probably go farther out on the food tree.
Yeah.
Some of you, most.
Yeah.
Like I've eaten blood jellos. I can't do eyeballs. I've tried.
Wow.
You know, like,
He wins.
I've done.
Yeah.
I watched my I was with my friend. I watched one of my friend eat gator nuggets, like they were fried. It was fried gator.
Crazy.
Go to Thailand to one of those like because Thailand's like a nose to tail country. They eat everything.
You were the first one to bring up an eyeball, so.
Yeah, you definitely
Yeah,
win
there
with
you
the eyeball.
go. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Most likely to have a conspiracy theory ready at all times.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I mean, you've got pretty good.
I know all the. I'm not necessarily a conspiracy theorist, but I usually know what they are because they interest me. So I am just like I'll listen to it and hear it out, and I find them funny and interesting, and I usually don't go farther than that. But.
We have some out there conversations, but mostly just in good humor about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it one of those things where you're just random conversation with someone, you're like, by the way, here's a conspiracy theory that fits.
Yeah,
Love it.
and,
Yeah, a lot of Alex Jones quotes in regular conversation.
Yeah, I think Alex Jones is hilarious. Also, in back to the pool community, I trained with a guy who taught Joe Rogan for 2 days, and he has some really fanatical beliefs as far as like the Earth being flat and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that, so,
Yeah.
The guy that trained Joe.
yeah,
Yeah.
Crazy.
yeah, he thinks the Earth is flat, but he's a
No, he knows
Yeah.
the Earth.
Well, exactly.
We'll settle it right now. Put in the comments if you think that the Earth is flat or if the Earth is round. We'll see who wins.
I mean, I haven't rolled off of it yet, bro.
Get right? Right?
Or whatever argument they
But
use.
maybe that's why ships and planes disappear.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
possible. Dude.
yeah, exactly.
There's a whole ass cliff just right there.
All right. Most likely to start their own solo side project about unicorns, rainbows, and Care Bears.
Always the basis, right?
I was gonna go here for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
There you go.
I can see it.
So, okay,
Almost
then
past my prime. So
what would you call it?
what would I call the album?
What would you call it? Yeah. Ash breed.
What was the moose one?
Moose blood tsunami.
What was it? You said unicorns and what?
Rainbows and Care Bears.
Unicorn blood typhoon. It's like moose blood tsunami, but
There you go.
I don't know. I'm bad.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay, and then this one. Most dramatic.
In the beginning, definitely me. Yeah, in the beginning, definitely me.
Just causing drama, or you just
No, like I just like I used to catastrophize a lot. Like
Okay.
Scott off the edge once every couple of weeks.
yeah, like I was pretty high strung when I joined the band, so like they definitely mellowed me out a little bit.
There you go. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. This one is called This or That Metal Band Edition. So I'm going to name 2 bands, and you have to tell me which one either you prefer or is better. But be ready to justify it, because you're going to probably upset some people.
As a group or individually?
However you want to do it.
I was gonna say there might be fights if we had to decide as a group.
Maybe it'll be different based on what the bands are. So this first one is Slayer or Metallica?
Metallica.
Oh, see, already a division.
Okay, hold on. What years are we talking about here?
Let's go full discography. How's that?
Full disc?
Yeah.
Slayer.
You're making me pick between my kids, bro.
Yeah,
if I had to pick one or the other, it would be Metallica. But I love Slayer.
There you go. I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong with
I
either.
feel like Slayer definitely has a lot of like really good songs, and there's also like especially for our genre of metal or like metalcore, they're like way more ripped off than a lot of people really get. So I definitely give them like credit. I just like feel like if I reach into a handful of albums and there was a bunch of Metallica albums or Slayer albums, I feel like the random Metallica album would be more likely good from front to back.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I just feel like
Yep.
Well, and like to kind of piggyback on your point too, I would say Slayer is probably the most ripped off band in the history of metal. Like more people rip off Slayer than they do Metallica any day of the week.
That comes down to the drummer.
Yeah.
Lars or Dave.
Dave Lombardo's the way better drummer.
Oh,
So yeah. Well, and there is a video when Dave Lombardo played, was it Battery or Blacken? He played a song with them, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Dave Lombardo's so good.
So, taking that one a step further, best intro, Battery by Metallica or Raining Blood by Slayer?
More
Before we
iconic
started
intro-
This, I said Battery was the best intro.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
I just have to stick to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that you said Raining Blood,
But it's Raining
I
Blood. I mean,
It's more iconic. I would say Battery is the better intro because it's more intricate.
okay,
But-
yeah.
But like Slayer's is definitely the more iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slayer's is super good. I like the acoustic going into the Battery riff, but yeah, Raining Blood's really good. If there was one song that would make my answer tough, so yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, I on Halloween last year I got to do a Slayer cover set at the Shredder with a couple of friends of mine from like Guerrilla Warfare and Witch Elm, and I got to go up there. I have a whole new appreciation for Tom Araya. You ever tried to just yell for 15 minutes, dude? It's not easy. Like there's no technique. It's just ah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's funny. You ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Black Sabbath or Motorhead?
Black Sabbath.
I kind of figured that would be unanimous.
I'm an Ozzy fan through and through.
Yeah.
But I love Lemmy and
Oh, we got a holdout.
We got a holdout. Him and
Hold out.
I don't. Oh God. Oh. See, I like. Man. I'm gonna go Motorhead on.
yeah.
Okay.
I got love for both.
I don't think that's
I
wrong.
think
No,
Motorhead
yeah, no wrong
has
answer.
a little bit more fuck you in them.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Like Black Sabbath's like we're gonna complain about war and
Ozzy was too high.
yeah.
Sabbath is good, and I definitely they hope it's drowned.
Oh, dope. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can we just say Hellraiser where they did the song together?
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, there you go. Best of both worlds. Okay, the next one. Slipknot or Sleep Token?
Sleep token.
I went with the masked theme.
I respect Sleep Token and I like him right now. I feel like Slipknot has like the bigger body of work, so right now I
Yes,
probably-
that's just not real fan for Slipknot. That's
Yeah.
tough.
Eloy playing with Slipknot's pretty unreal.
But I like
Yeah.
Slipknot's engineering.
I really like. Yeah, I think that their last two albums are really good so far. So I think that if they keep going the way they're going, they'll probably pass Slipknot. But like, I
Yeah.
think right now, I think it's Slipknot.
My arm's preoccupied, but I have a Slipknot tattoo on my arm, so
there you
that would be my answer.
Yeah. Love it. Okay, next one. This one, I'm not sure about. We'll see. Lamb of God or Gojira?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Ha, it's all over the place.
Well, I'll say Lamb of God. Who said Gojira? And you said Gojira?
Yeah, I think I kind of use those words.
Great bands. Both great
Cheers.
bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like again as far as like guitar influence, like I can play a ton of riffs off of Ashes of the Wake, and so a ton of my guitar playing is modeled directly from Lamb of God, Mark Morton, and Willie Adler. So,
There you go.
Gods of
So-
metal.
and I think that Randy Blythe also is
Unreal.
like metal vocal wise, that I don't think there's a better. There's people that are as good as him, but I don't know if there's anybody better.
Yeah. There is nobody that does vocal fry better than, well, very few people that could probably like even keep up with vocal fry with what Randy does, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gojira is also sick.
Gojira is great.
The Olympic opening ceremony was so cool. So.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Okay. System of a Down or Limp Bizkit?
System of a Down.
System of a Down.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Limp Bizkit.
Oh. Okay, you got to defend that answer though. I mean, it's a room full of Sode fans here.
Yeah. Did you say Limp Bizkit too?
Yeah. All right.
Thank. Like I like System of a Down, but bro, have you heard $3 Bill? like yes, Toxicity is a masterpiece. Steal This Album is great. Like yes, well,
Spoken like somebody who hasn't listened to their first album.
yeah.
Yeah.
Their self-titled album, I feel like
Mm.
is just as good as the one.
Yes, their self-titled album is great. Like I like Sugar and
Most
Spiders and
creative metal that come out of the whole
West Borland is still one of the greatest guitarists ever.
Like, and again, I think Limp Bizkit definitely has good songs, but I think front to back, like their self-titled album, Toxicity, there's not a bad song on that entire album, and then Steal This Album, which was like a bunch of songs that were like throwaways, they were never even supposed to be released, and then
Mm-hmm.
Mesmerized. was
Mesmerize
really
is my
cool.
favorite. That one's
But
really
I feel
good.
like their entire catalog, it sucks that they haven't made anything else, but like everything is, everything they did was
You
really
see that show they just played?
Yeah.
System all the way.
yeah,
the flares and everything. Yeah.
yeah. That was a riot with a soundtrack. That wasn't a concert.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Two more.
Okay.
Ice Nine Kills or Falling in Reverse?
Okay.
That's a tough.
It really is.
I think I like
Okay.
Ice Nine Kills more. I follow the reverse. I only like a couple songs.
Fair enough.
Falling Reverse has a couple really great songs, but they also do kind of some annoying pop punky stuff that I just can't get behind. Ice Nine Kills is at least heavy and fun
Yeah.
all the time, so I'm gonna do Ice Nine Kills.
Yeah, I would say Ice Nine is definitely more of a journey. Like Falling in Reverse has kind of carved their own path and like
Mhm.
doing their own thing. But I really like the voyage that Ice Nine's been on. Like they grinded for like 15 years before they
Yes.
even got famous. Like they have a ska record
Yeah.
from
They
back
do.
in the day. like they've been going at it for a long time.
Plus, for me, I'm a big breakdown guy.
Yeah.
And nothing will beat "Hey Paul" and then the drop. I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Gets me
love
going
that
every
song.
time.
The shower scene song.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Meet and greet, all those good ones.
Yeah, Welcome to Horrorwood was pretty
Yes.
incredible. Like that, like the Silver Scream was good, but like Welcome to Horrorwood was amazing, and like every trick in the book was pretty good too. But like these last two records have just been insane for them.
But when the Silver Scream came out, I think they really came into their own,
Oh,
commercially and artistically. The whole album had a refined melodic sensibility that really makes it a cut above the rest. Hey Paul.
Oh,
yeah, we do that at home all the time. Do you like Ice Nine Kills? Not really.
Not really. You got to do it like Jacoby does it. though.
Jacoby.
That's the fun part. Not really.
I would say Falling in Reverse for me. I like I don't like the newer song with Manson for sure. It just isn't like really my style. And but I do like his collaboration with Tech Nine. Like I did spend a little bit of time being like way too into Tech Nine for a while, so I respect that, and I think that that's pretty cool. I don't really ever really sit down and listen to either band. I know that Ronnie was in Escape the Fate, and I used to listen to them when he was still in them too. So I just am more familiar with Falling in Reverse than Ice Nine Kills, I guess. So,
Fair. And you're talking to a guy that's seen each of them 3 times in concert, so. Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen Falling in Reverse. I've seen Ice Nine Kills like 3 or 4 times, but I cannot tell you how many times I've seen Falling in Reverse.
There is something to be said about a Falling in Reverse concert, though.
Oh yeah, they're
it is
incredible.
electric.
Like the like pyro and everything that he's doing.
Yeah.
Like,
And
the
his
production.
stage presence even is
Yeah.
amazing.
The music videos are really cool.
Yes, they are.
Music videos
Yeah. Okay, you ready for the last one?
Totally.
And feel free to not answer this one if you want to, because it's going to be controversial. Okay? Karen Comes Killing or Black Marrow?
I will not answer that.
You're making me pick between my children. Again.
Right, exactly.
All my brothers.
There you go. Yeah, oh yeah.
Bands, both
Great
of them,
answer.
Check them out. Listen to both.
Come on, I need a clickbait title for the video. Say something. I'm kidding.
Suturist trashes other locals.
Exactly.
It's called Suturist.
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 That's a tough answer. They're all fucking good guys, and they're all legitimate real players.
Oh, yeah.
Great musicians in both those bands. And
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of history there. They're all fucking, like I said, it's that family thing.
Yep.
And I think most of us are kind of like we want to see everybody fucking go. I'll kind of bring it back a little bit, and it's like if Karen goes, we want them to go and take it, right?
Yeah.
'Cause everybody else will follow behind.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Same with Black Marrow, like fucking.
Black Mirror has Jeff is
Yeah.
They're all players.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Jeff's an insane guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a hard question. That's a hard one because I want both. I want them all
Yeah.
to go.
Back to your rising tide raises all ships argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't genuinely looking for an answer, so that was a great answer. Don't.
Wouldn't it have been hilarious if we just had an answer?
Yeah, all
ready?
of you unanimously just named one.
System of a Down.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
I'll just
Final
say
answer.
still not Limp Bizkit.
Still not.
We're on an island, Jeremy.
All right. Well, that's the end of the fun and games. Hope you had fun with them.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Let's go into the looking forward section. What is next for you guys?
So our
Scott just tells me where to go.
so our next show we have coming up is going to be June 7th in Twin Falls at Big Papa's. Me and Grim Entertainment, Dino Duo and Grim Entertainment put it together. We got Vintersea and Blighted Eye coming on tour. I can't remember where Vintersea is from, but Blighted Eye is from Seattle, and both those bands are insane. And then we're playing with 2 other local bands from the area called Arches Over Athens and Flora.
Nice.
And this is like Flora's like 2nd or 3rd show, I think. And Arches Over Athens is fairly new too, so pretty excited. It's gonna be a fun show. It's our first out of town show this year. So first time in Twin too. Yeah, we've had a few shows like planned that fell through. So nice to finally get out there. We have a lot of people that have been asking.
We're also going to start recording. We have a new single coming out soon. We're finishing up on the artwork for that. But then Daniel and I are hard at work getting click tracks for the next couple songs. So we're hoping to hit the studio end of summer, early fall, to start recording either an EP where we have either like an idea for a couple short EPs or like a album, because we're kind of like we're at around 10 to 11 songs where we can make an album, and so we're kind of figuring out how to do that.
Going over the details and stuff. We're writing a lot of new music right now too.
Awesome.
So pretty stoked on that. And then there's probably going to be another chance to see us in Boise before the year is out. Probably sometime towards like the fall time, more than likely.
Awesome. Anything as far as any new merch styles or designs or anything?
Our
We
new merchant shop.
Yeah, so I bought a real expensive laser that makes does a lot of etching and stuff. Actually made this shirt right here.
Nice.
The laser actually cuts the screen, and then I have a screen press that I do. So this is still experimental, but with the laser I immediately made shot glasses, flasks,
dog tags,
Nice.
metal bracelets.
yeah, some metal bracelets,
Sweet.
We patches, keychains.
patches on the hat. So
Yeah, the laser we got can engrave on like wood, leather, metal. So we've got a bunch of cool stuff.
Awesome.
yeah. So that's my new.
Got some beanies, new beanies too.
Love beanies.
I told myself I was gonna buy that and then like pimp us out, and then like I need to start getting some jobs to pay for it, and that hasn't happened yet. So
Yeah, any local bands, if you want some cool merch involving a laser where we can make your designs, it'll look really sick. I promise, because our stuff looks really sick.
There you go.
yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah,
Well, take your time in the limelight. Give us drop a name, drop a link, something, right? I mean,
I was gonna say we don't really have like
I don't
a.
have anything. It's just
Okay.
I really haven't said anything. I'm pretty busy, working and my wife and I, all the kids are out, so we're doing a lot of traveling. So I try not to cornhole myself too much. But yeah, when I do get serious about it, I'll definitely set up a link and website and stuff. But for now, just hit up the band page or whatever.
Yeah.
Just hit up the band page or myself or Facebook, Instagram, wherever you find.
Jeremy Franklin is his name.
Yeah, and I'll put links and stuff in description for merch stores and band sites and anybody else you want to include.
Cool.
I don't know if you want your personal Facebook and Instagram out there for everyone to see, but that's up to you. So those will be in the description.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else to add before we wrap it up?
I think that's pretty much what we're doing between now and the rest of the year.
Cool.
Right music.
Yeah.
Releasing another single, playing a couple shows. Throwing a big party in Boise, hopefully towards the end of the year. So stay tuned if you're ready for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Cool. And you guys are on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everything?
Anywhere you find music, yeah.
Anywhere you find music. Awesome. You heard it here first. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and before we officially finish, I'm going to start an impromptu competition with Karen. Alex did a duck impression that I can use in my intro. Any of you do a good duck impression?
Anybody
The
got a
best one
duck?
might get
That
used.
sounds like vocalist.
Okay. Okay.
I can't do it. Yeah.
Right?
Anybody got a Donald Duck they can do real quick?
There you go.
Like I can sound like a pig. I can't sound.
Okay.
Like,
Maybe I'll just do the duck and then the pig back to back.
just quack quack.
Yeah. Love it. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much to all of you again
Thank
for
you.
having me. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you click subscribe and like it so that we can do more of this because I'm having a blast. And I will see you next time. Peace out.
Thanks, guys.